Welcome to the podcast about venture capital, where investors and founders alike can learn how VCs make decisions and reach conviction. Your host is Nick Moran, and this is The Full Ratchet.
Welcome back to TFR for a special installment of Investor Stories. In this segment, the investors tell a story about some of the most odd and unusual situations they've ever encountered as investors. This is the segment called The Strange and Unusual. On today's special segment, we have Czech Warner of Adeeb Ventures. Czech, what's the strangest, most unusual, or most memorable startup pitch you've received?
This isn't so much a startup pitch, it's actually more of a pitch that I was doing to an investor, to an LP. So I'm not sure if this counts, but I played tennis with an LP once as a way of pitching them the fund. And it was slightly awkward because I think I had a different impression of quite how competitive the game was going to be to the one that it transpired it was. And I ended up beating the LP at the game of tennis. And I think that did not go down well. And let's just say they're not an LP in Adeeb Ventures today.
That's pretty funny. On today's special segment, we have Ramy Adeeb of 1984. Ramy, can you tell us a story about the craziest situation or pitch you've encountered?
I met an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur sent us a pitch about, this is also 10 years ago. And it sounded crazy. It was bringing spirituality online. And this is in 2009. And the idea was we would go to this website and it would be a very calming place with nice music. And you would be able to buy beads or buy emblems or buy little prayers that are all digital and that you would make money this way. And the pitch was like read by some yogi teacher, and it was so well written. But as I was reading, but you would read it, and this guy had like cloned his dog, then like lived in a cave for a decade, and then like did all of those things, and now he's going to bring spirituality to the world, and he's raising $2 million for it. And of course, we passed because I thought it was too crazy. Fast forward 8 years, and that's exactly what Headspace is, and it's exactly what Calm is. Maybe they're not as crazy, right? But that is precisely what these products are. Now, they're not online, they're in mobile. It's a key difference. And, you don't buy emblems, but you buy maybe meditation training. But he was right. That is particularly what's crazy about it.
On this special segment of Investor Stories, we have Pat Gallagher of Tuesday Capital. Pat, can you tell us a story about the craziest situation or pitch you've encountered?
I wish I had more crazy pitch stories. Like my pitch, I was thinking about this.
Come on, you've been doing this 20 years. You've got to have it.
I have, but I think the crazy. So there's two things, I guess, in terms of like portfolio company things that have happened. One is just a personal scheduling snafu. I was on the board of Constant Contact, the email marketing company.
Yeah,
and I joined the board early. We took it up, and we got it to the point where we're getting ready to take it public. And I was on the board. We had 2 days of meetings set up for banker bake-offs. And I was working in New York, and the company was based just outside Boston. And I remember this just clearly. It was a Tuesday morning at like 9 a.m. and I get a phone call in my apartment in New York, and I'm about to head to work. And it's the CEO of the company, Gail Goodman, saying, "Where are you?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, We're starting our meetings in 30 minutes for the banker bake-off." And I had calendared it for Wednesday and Thursday in my calendar. Just totally made a mistake.
Wow.
I run downstairs, get in a cab. I take a cab to LaGuardia. I get on the shuttle. I am in the offices where the bake-off is in an hour and 30 minutes. Like I door to door from my apartment in New York to the offices where we're holding the banker bake-offs. And I get flagged by Morgan Stanley expense reporting because they say it's impossible. You expensed a car in New York and then another car, a taxi in Boston. It's like there isn't enough time. So that was
you made it.
Yeah, it is. And it was the very first board that I was ever on. So there was a lot of embarrassment on my part.
Hey, well, good for you though. First board and it goes to IPO.
Yeah. See, this is an easy business. I don't know why everybody isn't a venture capitalist.
On today's special segment, we have Shawn Carolan of Menlo Ventures. Shawn, what is the strangest, most unusual, or most memorable startup pitch you've received?
I don't know. The memorable, I gotta go back to Siri. It was called HAL at the time, and they had a demo. And so I remember Dog with his HAL demo, and he starts, talking to this. Clearly, now I look back, it was a very canned, well orchestrated, exactly what he was going to say that was going to get the results. But it's just a magical thing when you talk to a computer and it gives you the answers you're looking for. So that was a special day. And the funny part, this partner shall remain nameless, but I walked out of that pitch and I said, that was the most exciting pitch of the year. And he's like, I thought that was the worst pitch of the year.
It reminds me, I had these founders show up a year and a half, 2 years ago that had a machine that hooked up to your head, and it could type on a screen what you were thinking, right? And so they set up the product demo, and it failed. It just did not work at all, right? And I'm sure they're just refining, and they've probably made a lot of progress. But do you look at these as well? These sort of removing sort of the vocal step?
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting one. So voice recognition engines still can't get 100%. Like if I am speaking and I have this great microphone and everything's working right, it's still not 100%. So the idea that now I can go with a much noisier signal, something around my head and pick up what I'm saying, the answer is no. Like that just, that's what I call the magic wand. Like there's a magic wand in that business plan that's going to actually work. No, it's not for a while. I think my guess is they probably tried to have you think about a key or look at a key or cue off of some other output from your body that allowed you to do that. I think AI, if you just understand some of what the convolutional neural nets and the deep learning do, it's amazing. Okay. I mean, you probably know this, but maybe for some of the listeners, currently algorithms, we've got a portfolio company called Clarify. They outperform humans in image recognition. I can show Clarify's algorithms a picture and it can label, the leaves and the trees and the sidewalks and the streets and the cars and everything better than a human can. There's a whole test called ImageNet that runs these algorithms and tests them against one another. So it outperforms humans in ImageNet. So just, what does that mean? That for the first time in the history of computer science, I don't have to program everything in anymore. I can train algorithms and then the algorithms can go make decisions without me. That is really just a fundamentally different way of us, interacting with it. You're seeing it in little ways, right? A lot of infrastructure now, customer service centers, right? You kind of see chat support and voice support that never touches a human. And it's actually really high quality. And wow, that's 10,000 call center employees maybe that, used to get yelled at that now, can go do, something better, with their time. So, that I think whole category of AI coming in is a fascinating one. Robotics interacting with AI. I'm a big believer of the singularity is near, Ray Kurzweil. So nanotech, robotics, information technology, AI kind of coming together into, at the end of the day, we're still machines. I got, 2 optical sensors up here. I've got an olfactory sensor between those. I've got 2 audio sensors on either side of my head. And then I have outputs, which are, the motion of my hands and feet. So, I'm not one to say that we'll never get to the point where all of those capacities can't be simulated by machines. And so, you got to stay on the edge, but then you also have to re-anchor those technologies with what, what is something really useful to be done as opposed to novel. It has to actually address one of these staples of life.
That will conclude this installment of Investor Stories. If you're enjoying the program and would like to see it continue, take a moment and leave a 5-star review in iTunes. Also, if you'd like updates on new content from TFR, as well as the top 10 VC articles every week, go to fullratchet.net and sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that will wrap things up for today. Until next time, over-prepare, choose carefully, and invest confidently. Thanks for joining me.